you ready? Welcome to Norton Park, Widnes, for today's Stones Bitter Championship match between Widnes and St Helens. Traditional fixture for the Easter Bank Holiday Monday. It's a crucial game for Widnes. Leeds, having battered Halifax this morning, Widnes have got to win today to stay in with a chance of finishing in the top 8. So the teams for this afternoon's match: the Widnes team, number 1 Stuart Spruce, 2 Dave Myers, 3 Carl Hammond, Dave Llewellyn in at the centres in number 4, Adrian Hadley number 5, Widnes halfbacks David Hume and Bobby Goulding. On the Widnes pack, 8 on the island, 9 Steve McCurry, Dave Smith comes back in at number 10, in the back row Paul Moriarty, Tim Russell and Paul Hume at number 13. Substitutes for Widnes: Christian Tyler and Craig Macon is 15. The St Helens team: Dave Lyon at number 1, Mike Riley, Alan Hunt, Paul Loughlin and Anthony Sullivan. The halfbacks, Taylor Party and Tommy Martin. A change in the forwards: Andy Dann at number 8, but Tommy Hodgkinson comes in at number 9 and George Mann is number 10. And the back row, Ian Pickavance, Chris Joint and Shane Cooper. Substitutes for the Saints: Phil Vevers and John Harrison. So out come the teams. Just in time, maybe a slightly late kick-off. We've just had an awesome hail shower here, and I wouldn't be surprised if the teams were just waiting for that to blow over. It is very gusty here at Norton Park, blowing down towards the scoreboard, slightly into that bottom corner, and it could play havoc. We're just waiting for the Widnes team to come out. Phil Larders had a few problems naming his team this afternoon, and the Widnes physio Lynn Gaskell has certainly earned the money today. And the team's been led out by today's mascot, who is Luke Patrick Perry. He's 4 years old and attends Birchfield Nursery School, and his favourite player there with him is Stuart Spruce. The match official this afternoon, John Connolly, makes his way to the centre of what could turn into a quagmire. And with me this afternoon, the inimitable Ronnie Hoff from St Helens. Ronnie, good gaming prospect today. The Saints and Widnes both losing on Easter Friday, and both teams need a win to make up for that. St Helens playing very well at the moment, but just can't win.
Yes, playing well, Gary, just can't get the points. As you say, both teams need the points. Widnes in 9th position, Saints in 7th position, both searching for a top 8 position, and Saints have never been out of the top 8 since the 2-division system, 1973. You're not about the pitch turning into a quagmire. I think it's already happened, Gary. It used to be a real good pitch here at Widnes, but unfortunately the last few years, for whatever reason, unfortunately it's a bit, a lot of boggy. There'll be quite a few skiddy patches centre field, Gary. But yes, prospects of a good game, obviously, as you say. Phil Larder having difficulty, only naming his side at 20-3. They were supposed to go on the board at 2:30, but for whatever reason that was, it was delayed, maybe late fitness checks. But here we go, Saints playing with the wind to the backs in the first half, Gary. And let's hope, obviously, as far as I'm concerned, that we can amass quite a few points and put the pressure on Widnes early on. Something that we haven't been doing as of late. Well, sorry, we have been putting the pressure on, but been unable to come up with the points.
Well, yes, I don't think I've ever seen a team have so much possession and attacking play as Saints did against Leeds in the semi-final of the Challenge Cup, and come away on the losing side. It will be Widnes to kick off. Bobby Goulding there plants the ball down. Widnes in 9th position at the moment, and 3 points behind Leeds now. Leeds having won, as I said, this morning against Halifax by a fairly convincing score, and so Saints will take possession first, but the ball just blows down. I think Stuart Spruce, well, I wouldn't fancy being in his boots this afternoon, or his opposite number Dave Lyons when he turns round. Widnes without Senny Familo. this afternoon, who's damaged the ligaments in the top of his foot. And Bobby Golding kicks. It's an awkward kick and it blows into touch, but fortunately bounces first, so Saints will get the feed. And I think, Ronnie, the wind is going to be a major factor this afternoon.
Well, it certainly is, Gary, and as you say, a terrific hailstorm just before the kick-off. It's going to play havoc with both teams, but Saints have possession. Quick hands. Saints get it out to Irapati, out to Anthony Sullivan, down the wing. Sullivan, just can't get past Myers there. But good tackle. Tirapati at dummy half. Saints putting early pressure on, obviously using the wind. George Mann has the ball in his possession. For Milo out for Widnes and Wright, both excellent players. But Saints take it up centre field. Ian Pickervance, Tommy Hodgkinson in at the hooking role with Bernard Dwyer suffering a back injury. John Griffith still out, prolific half-back, but Saints still move it. Rapati down to Alan Hunt. Jace gets the ball away to Loughlin. Loughlin just couldn't get his foot in there. Just unfortunately losing his footing when the big gap was open, but George Mann chips it through. Shane Cooper's there. The referee said he's offside, but Widnes have possession. The referee has come up with a knock-on for Widnes, I think. Certainly didn't look anything there, Gary.
Well, Stuart Spruce was very brave to go down on that ball. I think Shane Cooper had been signalled offside, but I think Spruce just did knock the ball forward, and it gives Saints another chance to attack. Loughlin knocks on, and it's play on. Now Myers, he just can't get there because Dave Lyon is coming across, and Sullivan completes the tackle. Loughlin not having the best of luck on this Easter weekend. A couple of passes he made against Wigan on Friday with some of the worst passes we've seen off centres. Watching that game on television. Penalty there, perhaps a bit harsh, although I shouldn't be so unbiased when I'm commentating alongside you, Donny, but Widnes perhaps lucky to get away with it, and still coming forward in the form of the big man Andy Ireland. McCurry flicks the ball up. Moriarty, who scored against Warrington, and another penalty. That's bad form by Saints, Ronnie. 2 penalties in quick succession. That one needless, and play on. Well, if that was play on, the Saints player was offside, but Widnes almost too quick for themselves there. David Hume now will look to steady it down. He goes inside, steps again, long ball out, not the best of balls, though Carl Hammond was under pressure when he took that ball, but certainly an exciting start to this first half.
Yes, full marks to Widnes. Took the quick tap penalty, tried to catch Saints off guard. Obviously you thought Saints players was offside, but he took it that quickly. As you said, maybe too good for his own good. But anyway, loose play, Hammond couldn't take it. Rapati came up with it, and Saints back in possession. Chris Joint running out wide, looking for space. We've only had about 3 minutes of play. The sun's come out now. Still a bit drafty up here, chilly around the Hollyhocks, Gary, as they say. And Tommy Martin puts the ball deep down for Stuart Spruce, who takes it well in his 20-metre area.
Yes, it might be chilly in the Hollyhocks. I've never been to Scotland, so I wouldn't know about that. Certainly blowing a gust here, and Saints obviously will use that kicking game to keep Widnes deep inside their own half. Carl Hammond struggles, makes a few more metres, but it's going to be tough for Widnes to get away from that. And I must apologise while I've got the mic, for the wind is also causing a bit of interference on our camera. You may see it blowing about from time to time. Andy Ireland, but Ireland drops the ball. David Owain kicks ahead, but St Helens come up in possession.
Yes, Tommy Martin, I think, actually comes up with it. Big drive there by the Widnes forwards, but the severity of the tackle, shook it from his hands. Saints keep it going. Hodgkinson out to Cooper with the head guard on again. Ian Pickervance takes up the running, still going forward. Saints in possession with gale force wind at the back. It just nearly took all the camera and commentating crew off the gantry, but a bad pass there by Tommy Martin down at Tirapati's ankles, and it'll be a scrum down with the Widnes head and ball.
And I think we'll see a lot more of that in this game, unless the wind dies down, because it's already caused a few problems with passing. Stuart Spruce goes hard, but he's tackled well by Tirapati. Short ball, Hammond on the left. That by now familiar sidestep of Carl Hammond doesn't open any doors on this occasion. Bobby Golding, crossfield, good flat ball, and well taken too it was by Tim Russell. Paul Hume with an excellent tackle by Tommy Martin. Well, Hume let go of the ball there. The touch judge has signalled a knock-on. I mentioned this against Wellington on Friday, Ronnie. Players seem to have got into the habit of actually putting this ball onto the floor with one hand and then using it to help them stand up, and it's causing an awful lot of knock-ons.
Yes, it's also available for grabs once it's on the floor for playing, but there are lots of niggly little things like that that creep in, Gary, isn't it? We've just got to get on with it. David Lyon has possession. Tommy Hodgkinson from acting half-back. Now Tommy Martin steps up. Saints moving it out. George Mann running out wide, hitting a bit of form. Lovely ball to Loughlin. He has to take the tackle. Not had a lot of luck with his game as of late, Paul Loughlin, unfortunately. But just get things like that. You go through a bad period, it's up to the public to get behind him and back him up. No good getting on players' backs. Doesn't give them any confidence, and obviously you've got to try and get behind your team to build them up. The last sequence of this set of 6, Tommy Martin puts a tester up, and look at that go. That'll be out of the ground, I think. Oh, it's an awkward bouncing ball. Well, if Spruce lets it go dead, but these kicks can go anywhere, Gary. They've got to be more or less up in the air, haven't they? Well, they're obviously up in the air.
Well, definitely words of wisdom there. Yeah. But yeah, that the ball almost looked as if it was about to bounce back infield, but I think again the wind caught it, thankfully for Widnes, and they just blew it over into dead. But it's definitely going to be a tough time for Widnes in the opening 40 minutes. St Helens there just taking some of the heat out of the situation for the Chemics by virtually the whole team standing in an offside position, and Widnes in no great hurry to get on with this at the moment. Just getting a bit of the breath back. They certainly won't be kicking against the wind for touch. Tap, Tim Russell working very hard for the Chemics in the last few games. When the chips have been down, he's been in there fighting. Paul Moriarty stands up in the tackle but can't get the ball out. Golding dummies the inside, dummies again, another flat ball, and Hume gets the ball out. Well, it goes straight to Stuart Spruce. Bit of basketball stuff there, more like volleyball in fact. The St Helens players knocking the ball back, but fortunately for Widnes, Spruce in the right place just when he was needed. And now Hammonds going across, looking for the gap. Can't get the ball out, almost makes it available. Moriarty was there waiting to pounce. Smith goes hard. Widnes inside the Saints 20-metre line for the first time in the game. McCuddy goes himself, good ball inside, and the island, he's looking at the line, can he get there? He can't be far away, and he's scored, and the island, the big man, has scored an excellent try for Widnes. Good play though by Steve McCuddy, an excellent combination. McCuddy just took it to the right himself, looked as if he may fancy his chances, but a lovely inside ball, and Andy Ireland came back through the play the ball position. Classic piece of tactical play there, and Andy Ireland couldn't be stopped. Hungry for the line, he doesn't score many, but that could be important. A good one for the Chemics. Yes, the kick missed, difficult in these conditions, but an excellent start for Widnes. 8 minutes into the game, and the Widnes take the lead. Perhaps not the most spectacular, but they all count, and nobody deserves it more than Andy Ireland. And Widnes back in possession and coming forward, and Carl Hammond almost steps away from that first tackle. McCuddy, Hume, 110% every game. Paul Hume having a great testimonial season on a personal basis. Moriarty knocks off the first tackle. Andy Dannett there flat on his back off Moriarty, and McCurry scampers away, and good support, but Smith just can't hang on to it, and Saints get the ball back, and now we'll look to move it wide, but good play by Bobby Golding to come in, and two of the Widnes players in there to snuff it out early on.
Yes, but Saints back in possession. And obviously, as you were saying, Gary, it looked like a bit of basketball in the middle of the field there when Saints knocked the ball back. Widnes capitalised on it, Spruce came away, and from that set of 6, Widnes finished off well, and they scored the try. But Widnes penalised this time. Referee John Connolly typical pie eater fashion. You know, we're getting a lot of these lately. They're drifting into the game, aren't they, Gary, these pie eaters? But they coming to the end of the season, as I said, both sides looking 4 points. 6 games left for the Saints. Maybe about 5, I think, left for Widnes after today's encounter. Saints with 3 home games. Hull, Leeds and Oldham all next Sunday to the following Sunday, and then Bradford and Halifax away. Only 2 home games for you, Gary, to finish your season off.
Yes, that's right. We've got Halifax next week, and then the last game of the season is actually at home. That's on the 24th against Hull KR, and that goes wide. So again, the St Helens kicking lets them down. Tommy Martin there can't put that one over. Lonnie, I don't know if you can shed any light on why Paul Loughlin's not kicking it for the Saints at the moment.
Well, I don't, Gary, really. Maybe I know he's been having an indifferent time with his kicking. I don't know whether he has actually got a groin strain or whatever, but he's not been doing too well, obviously, as you know, and Tommy Martin has been having a dabble, but Loughlin's always there. David Lyon also done a bit of kicking, but he's had groin problems. But it's Andy Dannett turning in the tackle, looking to release, but Ireland, the try scorer, quickly in there, along with the 2 other Widnes players. On to George Mann, the ball release, Cooper, joint loops round, out to Paul Loughlin, he comes inside again, but solid tackling. Hume in there along with Drouin, I think. It is. The ball turned in field, Cooper again, the playmaker, on to George Mann. Away to David Lyon, linking up in the back line. Is it? Oh, the ball's loose. It's come out, it's all on again. Loughlin winds up, turns it to Cooper. Out to Pickavance, takes it up the centre. Right in front of the sticks. 18 metres out. Tommy Hodgkinson, quick from the acting half-back, looking for support. Tremendous tackling stint by Widnes. Last one of the sequence. Cooper at acting half. Tommy Martin out. I don't think he'll go for the 1-pointer. But you never know. It's chipped it through. Well, Ruin's knocked it forward. Well, I don't know whether that was an attempted drop goal, Gary, but it was chipped through. Obviously, for the Saints to follow up, and unfortunately, Ruin fluffed it, didn't he?
Yeah, I think it was actually Dave Hume, Lonnie, but he seems to have all the time in the world. I know it's difficult against this wind, but the Saints weren't really putting too much pressure on, and that's a bad blow for Widnes because St Helens now move it to the left, and Martin keeps the ball alive, and out, and Sullivan scores. A well-worked stride there. They've obviously worked on that in the past, but that is a terrible blow for Widnes. David Hume will be devastated at that. The ball on the last tackle, a fairly simple one for him to take cleanly. He tried to just go down and make sure with it, but it just bounced away, and from that scrum, a well-worked move, and you have to say that St Helens perhaps deserve to be on level terms at the moment, having had most of the ball. Into the game, the kick again missed, and the wind here, having to fight up here, only to stay on our feet at the moment, so you can imagine how difficult it must be to actually be playing rugby league in these conditions. Hunt takes the ball. All credit to St Helens, though. One of the things I do enjoy about watching the Saints, even if we get beat, they like to move the ball about and give it some
Yes, they do. But George Mann knocks on. Quick Ireland picks it up quickly, pushes off the first line of defence, and George Mann's taking a knock. He's never moved since he went down. The referee allowing the play to go on, but it's McCurry in possession for Widnes, Gary.
Yes, George Mann still down, but Widnes in possession, as you say. Golding out. Paul Hume moves the ball out wide. Hammond, a terrible pass by Hammond, and they're picked up. Now a chance for Saints. They've got 3 men. There's Hadley's chasing back, but it's still 3-1. Well, the full length of the pitch. Widnes lost possession there. Coming from an awful pass, it has to be said, by Carl Hammond. Unfortunately for Widnes, it didn't even go into touch, and perhaps you can describe that better than I can with only the Saints players involved.
Well, a superb try. It was Mike Riley, got a fortunate bounce, shrugged the first line of defence off, turned it back inside, and old Tommy Martin actually scored it. I don't know who else was involved there as he went down the right wing. Tirapati as well, we think. So Tommy Martin loops round. Let's see if he's successful with this one. None out of 3. That looks a bit better. Yes, the touch judges raised the flag on the correct side for him with the aid of the wind. And Martin tags the extras. I'm sure it was Martin that scored the try. And that puts Saints with a 6-point cushion and leading now by 10 points to 4.
Yes, well, that's very unfortunate for Widnes. Adrian Hadley's a tall lad, but that pass went way over his head. And the Hunt there just for some reason knocks the ball backwards, but then picks it up and makes good ground and comes strong for St Helens. Tackle down there in that mixture of mud and sand.
Yes, it's not holding up so bad on the perimeters, is it, Gary? But it looks quite boggy in the centre. It's Chris Joint moving out wide. Obviously, you've had a lot of water on it this morning. You can see where it's been tried to be brushed off. Well, it's obviously been successfully brushed off. As Martin gets his kick away, puts it downfield, putting pressure on Widnes, obviously hoping to peg them in their own 20-metre area. Spruce turns, but it's not going to run dead. He's going to have to play it. Saints move up quickly. Well, he goes down bravely, Spruce. It's a good job, really, because I think Saints had moved in numbers and picked him up and tried to force him over the line. But Widnes have possession, deep in their own 20.
Carl Hammond doing his best to get away from that Widnes try line, and who better to do that for you than Paul Hume again coming in, but this time knocked back by the tackle of Andy Dannett. Moriarty again dips his shoulder, but this time 3 St Helens players in there, and the Saints' confidence now must be bubbling up. Bobby Golding scampers away, tackled well, but he's not put down. He gets back to his feet, keen to make a few more yards. And McCurry the same, a kick straight out though. Well, it's dangerous kicking in these conditions. I think, Ronnie, unless you're an established and practiced kicker, you're better keeping the ball in your hands.
Well, yeah, really, Gary. He might have tried to keep it low, but it came off his boot. And Pickavance making good yardage up the centre, 20 metres from the Widnes line. Saints in the lead, 10-4. Hodgkinson takes up the running. Oh, Widnes coming in numbers. They bring him down, but Saints are making good yardage. Cooper, the playmaker, looking for the runners. Moves it out wide. Rapati now glides through. Oh, big hit there by Spruce. Forces him down. Saints again. Cooper along the line. George Mann looking for the gap. Oh, the ball came back. Sullivan tidied it up. Sullivan does a shimmy, tries to get through, but Myers is there. Myers along with Ruane. Now it's Loughlin. Loughlin will give the dummy, turns into the tacklers. Last one of the sequence. Martin's out wide there. Will he go for the 1-pointer? I think he may. Yes, that's a 1-pointer. Gives us the cushion, obviously gives us the 7-point cushion. We've always heard it before, Gary, the old adage, go down if you're in the opponent's 20-metre area, pop one over, it's come off there, and Saints now gain that extra point, Gary. It could be crucial at the end.
Well, yes, not only that, of course, they will get the ball back as well, and well, I sometimes think it's a bit boring at times unless it's in the last 10 minutes, but you can't deny it. It gives them a 1-point extra cushion, and as I say, they will get the ball back. So all credit to Tommy Martin. Good tackling, I thought, by Widnes in that spell, because they were certainly scrambling back, and they did well to keep Saints out.
Yes, Martin's 9th of the season. Oh, fortunate bounce there for the Saints. Rapati tries to flick it out there. Pickavance couldn't take it, and it goes back into Widnes' hands. Obviously, you would think it was boring, the drop goal, Gary, especially while it was to the Saints. If it had been to you, it'd have been all right, wouldn't it?
Well, I don't know, we're not biased in Widnes, but Widnes were unfortunate initially to get the ball back off the kick-off, but then that loose pass pounced on by Paul Hume, so a chance for Widnes to come forward at the moment. David Hume there by himself, now support of Carl Hammond, sees that there's nobody else out there, turns back inside. Widnes looking to throw the ball about. Tim Russell, great support by Stuart Spruce, but the ball was just covered, and the Aussie takes the good option, I think, in not taking the chance. That's good support by Smith. Smith uses the handoff, keeps the ball in one hand, looking to pass it out, can't offload. But Widnes coming forward, and this game is swinging from one side of the pitch to the other at the moment. Hammond with the dummy flicks the ball back, but unfortunately it goes straight to a St Helens player, and now will the Saints come away with quick hands? That's what they're looking to do. They've got men outside. A crucial tackle. It's not completed on Hunt. It is now though.
Yes, Saints moved it quickly there after the ball had come loose. Saints with an overlap on the right-hand side. They got it to Alan Hunt. He tried to bisect the opposition to take Mike Riley on his outside, and it's Riley now in possession. But But obviously this wind's playing havoc with both attack and defence. It's Cooper. Takes the tackle, slips it out there. Saints keep it moving. Chris Joint bringing it over to the left side. Oh, well tackled there. Widnes moving. David Smith and Ruane. Just when Joint was going to slip it out to Loughlin with Sullivan on his outside. George Mann, chip and run. Ian Pickervance is chasing as well. Watch Pickervance move. Pressure on Goulding. Oh, but George Mann comes through and tackles the man. Excellent follow-up, but brave work there.
Yes, great charge by Pickervance, good speed there by him, but excellent play by Bobby Golding. He bravely went down. Stuart Spruce stands up in the tackle, looks to keep the ball alive, but all of the Widnes players there were in front of the ball when Steve McCurry caught it. Spruce just didn't have the support with him. Tim Russell steps away from the first tackle into the second one. Well, it's exciting stuff, it's end-to-end stuff. It's not at the moment going the right way for Widnes. 11 points to 4 down, 22 minutes gone in this first half. But don't forget, Widnes are playing against the wind at the moment. Paul Hume batters in the final tackle for Widnes. Andy Ireland doesn't want that ball there on the last tackle. Bobby Golding does and gets a kick in. Not the best of kicks, picked up by Hunt. Hunt looks to go away, but Andy Ireland puts him down.
Yes, Saints back in possession. Alan Hunt just taking a knock on the far side, but looks fully fit now. Is Pickervance, who looks very sharp, shrugs the tacklers off, drives again. Played in the front row, second row, and in the centre for the Saints this season. And he's running hard, and there's another hard runner, George Mann. Oh, slips the ball up. Tommy Hodgkinson couldn't take it. It's still loose. Widnes will be allowed to play advantage. It's now with David Myers.
Well, Myers has got Lyon to beat. He didn't really have him on the outside there. Lyon was standing still deep even though Saints had the ball. Luckily for them, he wasn't in the line and he just cut off the line of attack. Tim Russell over the unders, David Hume there, but Paul Hume inside to Carl Hammond. Hammond finds a gap, he puts his head down, he's got support for the ball, again caught by the wind, went miles behind David Smith, but now David Owain steps inside, flicks the ball out. Moriarty steps back inside, Moriarty is going for the line, he's got support. Hammond, can he get there? No, he can't. Great stuff by the Chemics, super cover tackle. Golding not the best of balls. Myers does well to stay in field, keeps the ball alive. Smith, and Smith's in the corner. I don't believe it. The two Widnes props have got one each now. Excellent stuff. That is really beyond words to describe what happened there. Widnes just kept the ball alive so well. Carl Hammond, Dave the Way were involved. Paul Moriarty opened up a big gap in the defence. Dave Myers did well to take the ball high and keep in field, but then up popped David Smith in the corner. Who would have believed it? And Widnes are back in the game. It's 11 points to 8.
Yeah.
So again, the kick missed by Bobby Golding. Almost an impossible one against the wind in these conditions. So 11 for St Helens, 8 points to Widnes. Chemics to get the ball back. Straight to the arms of Stuart Spruce. An excellent straight drive and a high tackle, surely. Mr Connolly straight in there. I don't think even Shane Cooper would have the audacity to deny that that was a high tackle. Russell back to his feet straight away. McCurry takes a quick tap, gets the game going again, and rightly Mr Connolly penalises Saints, and again Widnes take the quick tap and coming forward, keep that momentum going. Hume, no option there. The two support players just coming a bit too early, I think, and the ball's gone, and it's the touch judge has signalled that the ball was pinched, and well, a silly penalty there. He's not going to change his mind on it because you throw the ball at him.
No, obviously the touch judge has given that decision. We couldn't pick anything out, Gary, could we? There, just you know, there was 2 men in. It's a grey area. We've said this before, and we'll say it again. But obviously, Tira Patty didn't think that he'd stolen the ball. He bounced the ball down in disgust and was penalised a further 10 metres.
So Dave Smith takes Widnes forward again. St Helens going backwards at the moment, and this is good from the Chemics. An inside ball, but it comes to nothing, and the momentum disappears. Andy Ireland not happy with himself. The inside ball off David Hume hits the deck, and St Helens will get the ball back and take some of the steam out of the situation.
Yeah, just as they're coming back into the game, Gary, and Ireland came through, couldn't take it. He bounced it down in disgust as Rapati feeds it inside to Lachlan after Saints had got possession from the scrum feed. Tommy Hodgkinson scampers away quickly. That tackle there by Shane Cooper, obviously the man got up straight away. I think he'd hit the ball carry in hand. Obviously he showed that by getting up straight away, but a bad pass by Andy Dannett there. Should have held on to it, puts Widnes back on the attack.
Well, I'll tell you what, Ronnie, if I was Eric Hughes, I'd be doing me nut on the bench over there, because Saints are throwing away some really terrible passes when there's nobody in support, there's no chance of the ball going to the man, and in this wind, a pass anything over 15 metres is taking a chance, especially a one-handed pass like that. But that's all good for Widnes at the moment. Carl Hammond in possession. One of the good points to come out of Widnes' season this year, the form of Carl Hammond and the confidence which he's got, established himself now as a first team player. Likewise Andy Ireland and David Smith. The kick, well, I don't know what Bobby Golding was expecting to get out of that, but it went straight to the St Helens winger, and it was as good as an Easter egg.
Well, obviously looking for an unforced error, Gary, by chipping it through. It's an awkward wind, as we say, irrespective of whether you're attacking or defending. And they tried to kick it through, and Sullivan took it cleanly. Saints have possession. Widnes tackling has been superb, and when they've got the ball in their hands, they've looked really dangerous. And obviously you can see it there with their two tries by the forwards. It's George Mann, he takes it up centre field in the quagmire. The ball back to Tommy Martin, long kick downfield. Spruce comes in, Myers is covering him.
And again, that tactic being used by St Helens, this time not as deep, and Stuart Spruce takes it on the 20-metre line, makes a good 20 metres and a quick play of the ball. Dave Lewayne thought about passing that ball. It's only the second tackle, and Widnes don't need to get too panicky at the moment. 10 minutes left in the first half, and Widnes are only 3 points behind, and playing against this wind, that isn't a bad situation to be in at half-time. Almost a good ball, almost an interception, and it should be back to one if Widnes get the ball. They do, so it is back to one. Tommy Martin just couldn't take the interception. Thankfully for Widnes, Hadley takes Widnes over the halfway line. Takes his time to play the ball. Andy Ireland this time makes no mistake. The wind just dies down slightly. The ball back to Smith, having a big game. Dave Smith always in support. The crowd on the far side spot something, they think, but the officials take no notice. And Widnes again, will they come to this short side? They do, with Moriarty. Looks to go through the tackle, he can't get the ball out, it's covered. And the final tackle for Widnes. Now what will Bobby Golding do with this one? An up and under. It's a tester. Swirls in that corner, goes away from the Saints players, but Mike Riley, I think that was taken at. The ex-Widnes Tigers player does exceptionally well to take that ball.
Yes, he did. He came in well. I'd have been tempted to leave it and let Widnes have it and complete the tackle while it was on the 6-1, but Riley came in, took it well, and obviously with him taking it well, everything's all right. But Saints now driving down centre field. Picker Vance again. Oh, he's been rampant. Oh, inside ball to David Lyon. Support inside. Oh, good tackling by Widnes. Tommy Hodgkins is with him. The ball came loose, and Widnes have back ball possession after Saints going down the field about 70 metres.
Well, Picker Vance there stormed away and stepped past Bobby Golding as if he wasn't there, but great cover, excellent play by Adrian Hadley, who was going to make the tackle on Lyons. Lyon offloaded the ball, and it was Dave Lewayne who I think made the final tackle, and a crucial one it was. And I've got to say, we're talking about good things coming out of this season. Dave Lewayne must be one of the all-time bargain buys of any season coming to Widnes from Lee. An excellent acquisition for the Chemics. and he's found a new lease of life in the black and white jersey. So Widnes escape the final tackle, the ball back to Stuart Spruce, and Spruce hoofs it up the field. Sullivan will take it, and Saints back in possession.
Yes, and Sullivan takes it, tries to round Myers. What did you say about Ruane? It's his second spell here, Gary. Obviously, a lot of brothers come through this Widnes ranks, haven't they, with Humes and Ruanes and quite a few more than you can probably rattle off. Got a good hotbed of rugby around this area, Warrington, Widnes and Helens and Wigan. Saints have possession, still in the lead by 11 points to 8. 6 minutes to the interval. As far as Saints are concerned, they really need more points. Well, Riley drops it there. Widnes get back possession. Still difficult there, but Widnes maybe, Gary, looking the more hungry.
Well, I think the Chemics are coming forward and perhaps thinking that they may be able to just go ahead before the half-time interval comes in, because they've certainly clawed the way back into this game, and at the moment, apart from that break by St Helens by Pickavance, Widnes are certainly on top of the game at this moment in time. The ball back to Stuart Spruce. He can't knock off the first tackle, but he does knock off the first tackle, and he's still going the ball in one hand, looking to pass it if he could do. The opportunity wasn't there. Now Dave Ruane, long ball out, finds Moriarty. Moriarty kicks through. Well, I thought we were going to have another sensational try by a Widnes forward there, but it wasn't to be. Good cover by Dave Lyon.
Well, it's end-to-end stuff, Gary, isn't it? Saints should have wrapped up 6 points at the other end. Good cover defence by Widnes, and then they hit back in good style, moving up there, and Moriarty trying to chip through on the last tackle. But Saints back in possession. 20 metres from their own line, centre field. Tommy Hodgkinson a dummy half. Both sides obviously looking for a score. 11-8 the Saints lead, and Pickavance up the centre again and looking really hungry this afternoon. Martin's going to put it down, putting pressure on Widnes hopefully to try and peg them down there, but they've done it before, it's gone down, and Widnes have come back.
Widnes to feed the ball. Just about 6 minutes left. Back inside now the last 5 minutes of this first half. An excellent first half it has been. Some good stuff by both sides, littered with mistakes, but in a sense that has just added to the excitement. Paul Hume takes it away for Widnes. McCurry now. Moriarty comes for him. Moriarty drives in hard, turns, can't get the ball out. 4 St Helens players in there. And the Island this time again comes forward. Pickavance tackles him, possibly the best player on the team for St Helens in the first half. Dave Smith keen to get it in on the action. The final tackle for Widnes. Haven't managed to make the halfway line, but Bobby Golding now, what does he do with this one? Kicks, it goes towards Such. Mike Riley takes the ball, comes in field, steps away. Hammond just hangs on to him, and 2 more tacklers come in. St Helens back in possession.
Yes, Goulding keeping it low. Looking for an error from Mike Riley, but he took it well. John Harrison in. First touch just coming on from Andy Dannett. Now Chris Joint running out wide. Tommy Hodgkinson at dummy half. Saints looking to put the cosh down, looking for another score before the half-time interval. And Pickavance again up the centre, taking a lot of pulling down. I'm glad you think he's the best player on our side. I certainly think he is, Gary, so far in the first period. Tommy Hodgkinson chips it through, looking to put Spruce under pressure. Alan Hunt comes through. Spruce gathers it, drives up centre field. Excellent break.
Yes, great break by Spruce. When he's on the top of his form, there's no better full-back at coming away from defence, I don't think, than Stuart Spruce. I know it was an example of that. He spots the gap and he just powers through any attempted tackles. Dave Smith looks to do the same, but he's stopped by George Mann and Chris Joint together. As we come up to the half-time who just a couple of minutes left. Tim Russell, good tackle low by John Harrison, but Widnes still looking to get some points on the board before half-time. Ruane almost loses that ball, clutches onto it, then he loses it in the tackle. A knock-on given, a disappointment for Widnes. Perhaps the final chance to go ahead has gone begging. I'm sure that Saints will be happy to keep the ball for the couple of tackles and then boot it down the field, and that more or less will see out the game.
Yes, maybe it will for the first 40 minutes, Gary, but another thing there, men in at the tackle and the ball being adjudged to have been knocked on. Tirapati flicks it up there, Loughlin coming in field, the ball's loose and Spruce has it again, Gary.
Yes, that ball wasn't pinched by Stuart Spruce. You could just see it bobble away from Loughlin, and it went straight into the hands of Stuart Spruce, who accepted it, thankfully, and made yardage. There's a Widnes player down off the ball. I can't quite see who it is at the moment, but meanwhile, play goes on with Andy Ireland going on the left-hand side. Dave Lewayne is down injured, I think, off the play. Goulding slips it back to the left. Smith. Hammond looks to get the ball out, can't do it, he's swung around in the tackle. It's the final tackle for Widnes. Now Goulding, what will he do here? Puts it short to Moriarty. Moriarty's got to get the ball away, he doesn't, he's caught in possession, and the St Helens get possession back inside their own 20.
Yes, full marks for Widnes, they've got to keep driving at it. Can't chip it too close with this gale force wind. They elected to run it. Saints have the ball from the turnover, and John Harrison coming downfield. Obviously both looking for a win after a bad performance from, well, a bad result for both teams on Good Friday, as Loughlin drives it down the wing. Saints losing 15-9 to Wigan, and Widnes losing to Warrington by 28 points to 14. George Mann now. Looking impressive, his last 3 games, back since injury, and he was very impressive at the beginning of the season, up to just before Christmas till he got that injury. But Hodgkinson drives off 2, looking for runners, Martin's there, goes diagonal, last one of the sequence now for the Saints. Referee Connolly, arm upstretched, it's back to David Lyon, chips it downfield, Adrian Hadley's there, but is he going to let it run dead? He certainly is. It shows you the ferocity there, Gary, but 40 minutes gone on my watch, just playing in stoppage time. Well, there's the half-time hooter. Saints in the lead by 11 points to 8. It was Widnes that scored first, an 8th-minute Ireland try. Sullivan got one back 5 minutes later, all level at 4 points apiece. A Tommy Martin try and goal in the 16th minute gave Saints a 6-point cushion. A Martin drop goal in the 20th minute gave it 11-4, and then another try from the prop, well, a try from the other prop, Smith, 15 minutes before the interval made it 11 points to 8. But Widnes will turn round with the wind at the backs, Gary, and they should be happy with just the 3 points deficit.
I should think so. I think we'll see Widnes kicking Saints to death in this second half. That can sometimes be a bad thing, and sometimes the team goes out of the rhythm, but I'm sure we've got an action-packed second half to come on this Michael Video game. Widnes against Saints, it's 11-8. We'll see you in the second half.
He's not started up yet. Are you ready? Okay. Well, welcome back to Norton Park, and just before we get underway, obviously working with the Widnes video and the Saints video this afternoon, but on behalf of the Saints video we can just give a mention. We have a lad in St Helens, Ron Lee. He's hoping to compile a history of the Saints on video, and we're looking for any old cine film concerning the Saints against any opposition, so either any Widnes spectator, viewer or St Helens, if they can give Ron a ring on St Helens 29976, or see me, Ron Hoof, on the video at St Helens. Thanks very much. Gary will take you into the second half. Saints in the lead by 11 points to 8.
Well, no changes that we can see at half-time, so the teams come out as they finished the first half. Widnes now, though, with a wind behind the back, although I don't know if it's my imagination, but the wind does seem to have died down slightly at the moment. So that may be to the benefit of St Helens. Although, as I said at the end of the first half, sometimes teams don't play as well as you expect them to with the wind behind them. You expect it to change the game a great deal, and it doesn't always work out that way. We shall see as Widnes come forward. McCurry again makes good ground from the half-back, but Dave Myers, well, he had to jump up as he took that ball. It wasn't the best of passes. I think he was coming towards McCurry anyway. Goulding, there's his first kick in this half. It goes deep. Not too difficult, and Lyons takes it on the try line, but a good chase. But Lyons beats the first tackle and makes some good ground there.
Gets a good take by Lyon, Gary, as you say, awkward conditions. Tony Sullivan now coming in field, scorer of 1 try in the first half for the Saints. John Harrison now drives it up centre. The ground has dried out very well. It looked very boggy early on, but a little bit of sun along with a very strong breeze has assisted it. Moriarty in there on the tackle against Tommy Hodgkinson. And Cooper at dummy half brings it away. Pickervan shows it. Taken down well. Moriarty quickly in there along with McCurry. Now it's Tommy Martin against the breeze. Adrian Hadley should take it comfortably. He does so. The Saints come up and line up, but he gets it away to Spruce. Cooper comes in and closes him down, and Chris Joint completes the tackle.
Well, I think you could hear the Saints fans oohing there as Hadley threw that ball to Spruce, thinking it was a risky pass, but it wasn't that bad a ball, and Spruce took it comfortably and made some extra yardage. And Widnes have made good ground in this opening couple of tackles. Hume that was, and now it's Paul Hume takes Widnes up virtually up to the halfway line. Goulding, that little scampering step of his. A few more metres. Widnes working patiently at the moment. Awful pass by McCurry, but it bounces and Tim Russell picks it up on the bounce. The final tackle for Widnes though. Goulding, little chip over the top. It's going to blow away from the chase, but the bounce is almost kind to Widnes, but Sullivan picks it up well and beats the first and second tackles. Looks for space centre field, but there was none. Tackled well by Andy Ireland and Steve McCurry. It's almost like a game of chess at the moment in these opening minutes though, Donny.
It is, Gary. A very astute kick there, and Sullivan took it well, came inside, beat 2 men. Saints still have the possession. They're approaching the halfway line, and Tommy Hodgkinson slipped it up there to George Mann. I would imagine, as we were saying in the first half, that Bobby Goulding will pepper us. Ian Pickervance driving it up. Referee Connolly urges Widnes to get back on side as Tommy Hodgkinson scampers away. Hodgkinson in the clear, looking for support. Inside is Rapati, but good tackling there by Hodgkinson with a 25-metre burst. Chris Joint taking up the running, looking for the gap, slips it inside there. Saints keep it going. The ball's still loose, and Widnes come up with it, and they've got an overlap on this side. And Hadley, now has Hadley got the legs? It's Hadley against Riley, and Hadley's going to score a sensational try for Widnes. I don't believe it. Super stuff. Just when Widnes looked like they were under the cosh, a loose ball picked up. There was no contentment just to take the first tackle. The one scored by Martin before, but this time it's under the sticks. And Bobby Goulding slots that one over, and Widnes now ahead by 14 points to 11. Yes, full marks, Gary, from broken play. Saints were attacking, and a loose pass, and Widnes capitalised on it. They played well in the first half, capitalised on any loose ball. They did it then, and Hadley got it. He came in field, and unfortunately Mike Riley couldn't make an inch on him, and Hadley under the sticks, and Goulding pops it over, makes the score 14 points to 11. And just 6 minutes gone in the second half. Saints forced to kick off, and Widnes back in possession. I think that's Russell, is it, driving through?
Yes, Tim Russell beats the first tackle, and there's certainly an element of determination about the Widnes team this afternoon. Had some difficulty, as I said before, naming the team before the match. There's that many injuries and ill health problems in the club at the moment, but you wouldn't know that by looking at what's going on down there on the pitch at the moment. Widnes playing with determination and a willingness to win, and keeping the ball alive. Well, I don't think we've seen Widnes keep the ball alive so well all season. This is great stuff. They're playing against St Helens, who are a team that like to keep the ball alive, but it's Widnes at the moment throwing it about. Spruce there, just caught by an ankle tap, I think by Sullivan, who was on the ground as Spruce went past him, but they're still coming forward. David Owain is the final tackle for Widnes. Now Bobby Goulding, what's he going to do here? He thinks a cross kick, but it goes into dead, and I think Goulding went down on his ankle there. He gets up, he's okay, but this is breathless stuff by Widnes.
Well, obviously it is for you, Gary. You're getting excited, and it's unlike you. But your full marks for Widnes to keeping it going. I thought Golding's option was left a lot to be desired there. Thought Widnes would have made most of it, or more of it, I should say. But they didn't, and Saints restart from the centre of the 20-metre mark. You keep it going. Tommy Hodgkinson again. Prolific running from the acting half-back position by Hodgkinson. Standing in for Bernard Dwyer, out with the back injury. Quite a few injuries in the Saints ranks, but it's no excuse. We've had them all season, and you just got to get on with it. Hodgkinson again, making good yardage, shrugging the tacklers off, looking for support. He gets it away to Cooper. Pick of Ants up the centre. Pick of Ants, can he break through? Oh, he tried to get the ball away as support from Cooper was coming up, but it touched a Widnes player, bounced favourably, and Widnes have possession. Hammond at dummy half.
Well, it's Widnes with all the luck at the moment, and again you could see the determination to keep the ball alive and keep the momentum going forward. Bobby Goulding just scampered through a gap, as Hadley it was that made that vital interception. Dave Smith now is by himself, but that won't stop him. The tackle of Shane Cooper will. Goulding, crossfield, forward pass, well, Mr. Connolly awards the forward pass. It was a flat ball. It's very difficult to judge from this distance, but I would say that was debatable. David Hume certainly shakes his head, but it just breaks down. Widnes perhaps just attempting one thing too many, but Saints now in possession.
Yes, I can settle that for you. There's no doubt about that, Gary. It was forward pass, and if he I didn't know whether he released it or not at first, otherwise it would have been an obstruction. But Mike Riley in possession. Just forced back there by Hammond. Good tackling. Saints keep it going. George Mann turns it back on the short side. Pick of Ants looking for support again, but solid tackling. Moriarty in there along with Goulding. Hodgkinson takes it blindside. Goulding comes in and completes the tackle. Saints know the urgency. They're trailing by 14 points to 11. We've had nearly a quarter of an hour, 10 minutes of the second half. Good hands there. Lyon linking up. Oh, but the final pass there to Tony Sullivan going in touch.
And it's another scrappy scrum. Mr. Connolly not happy with it. The two packs having difficulty getting down together. Harrison's virtually not in the scrum, but Bobby Goulding comes up and takes it to the blind side and almost caught Saints unawares. Well, I've never seen a dull game between these two sides, but this is certainly up to now one of the most exciting, as Stuart Spruce looks for the gap, keeps going, he can't get the ball out. He does get the ball out though. Tim Russell bounces away. Widnes in the end not making too much on those couple of extra passes, but it's always worth a go. Hume, flat ball, Smith bursts through, inside, lovely inside ball, Hadley, David Owain gets the ball back, Hammond, now can Hammond go for the corner, he turns, he's going for the corner, he just can't get there, my word, he must be an inch short there. That turn of Carl Hammond's almost caught St Helens by surprise. Hume doesn't get the ball out, took the wrong option there, David Hume, but you can just hear the Widnes spectators expecting something spectacular. Hammond, the ball not the best of balls, McCurry looking for someone to come. The ball back to Hadley. Hadley goes himself, flicks it up, a lovely pick up and a great pass. Now can he get there? Is he in? I can't even see who it is. He's on his back, Paul Hume on his back. That was a brilliant pick up by Andy Ireland. He's been compared to Phil Bennett on many an occasion. He's playing like a back at the moment. I thought he might go over himself. He picked that ball up off his boots, slipped it to Hume, and then Hume just tackled on his back, but 6 more tackles. Widnes goes to the blind. It comes off a St Helens player. Back to one. Picked up by Paul Moriarty. Mr Connolly there just got in the way of that Widnes move. Tim Russell tackled well by Mann. Widnes with a deep line out. Myers is charging to this short side, and that's where the ball goes. Myers steps in. It was an enterprising idea by David Myers, but it didn't just come off. McCurry, Goulding, Paul Hume, he can't get the ball out. Widnes powering forward towards the St Helens line. 14-11 ahead. Moriarty's acting half-back. He's going to go himself. He can't get there. He's stopped inches short again. Well, I'm going to lose my voice, I can tell before the end of this game. A lovely short ball, but Hammond can't hang on to it. And now Saints with a chance to come away. Ronnie.
Yes, they've got to move it quick, haven't they? They've withstood the Widnes pressure. About 12, 18 tackles down at that end, and they got a touch of what Saints have been having lately. They just couldn't penetrate the line, even though Hume was over on his back. You better regain your voice, Gary. I'm sure Phil Larder will want to listen to me for the rest of the game. But not so bad while we spell it. But Big John Harrison bringing the ball up to the halfway line. Saints moving it quickly. George Mann. Oh, breaks through. Man in the clear. Cooper's with him. Cooper looking for support. Rapati was there, but Alan Hunt looms up. Hunt goes inside. Tia Rapati takes it inside to Riley. Oh, lovely ball handling skills from both sides, it must be said. But Saints now looking for points. Well, a lot of jiggery-pokery at the play the ball there. I think it's going to be a penalty to the Saints. It's not. A penalty to Widnes. Well, I thought Saints looked as though they was a little bit impeded, but obviously you a view on that, Gary?
I think what it was, Stuart Spruce was lying down. We see so often the tackle player forced to lie down behind the play the ball and just not move until it's been played. But the St Helens player didn't actually play the ball because Spruce was in the way. So Widnes rightly get the penalty. I think a good decision there by the touch judge. But it's certainly all credit to both sides here, putting up an excellent performance. This is well worth the money. Oh, that was never a forward pass. I can't believe that Mr Conley has given a forward pass. Well, I don't know what he's signalling there, if that's the size of a fish he caught last week or something else, I don't know, but in my mind that was never a forward pass, and Widnes denied a good attacking chance.
Yes, well done, Gary. You're getting in the swing of it now, lad. Must have been a yard forward, but Saints get possession from the scrum, and Riley comes in field, and Saints have possession. Little bit of a flopper there as the one of the Humes came in, but it's called Human, is it? Yes, but Chris Joint struggling well and driving up 5 metres short of the Widnes 20-metre line. Saints trailing by 14 points to 11. Cooper to Harrison. Well clamped there, preventing him from squeezing the ball out. McCurry round the legs, but Saints keep it going. Cooper looking for the chink, drives it forward 15 metres from the Widnes line. Quick play, Tommy Hodgkinson turns it inside. Tommy Martin, case is over. He scampered over and he kept his momentum. His elbows didn't touch the ground, and Martin went in for his second. He did well then, but it was engineered in the 20-metre area. Shane Cooper again, and then Tommy Martin finished off his second try of the afternoon, his 9th of the season. It did well. It's been end-to-end stuff, Gary, hasn't it? Widnes should have scored at the other end only minutes ago, and now Martin at the opposite end.
Well, certainly Tommy Martin did well to get to that ball, because it must have been about 4 yards forward, but unfortunately Mr Conley didn't see it that time. In my mind, of course, Widnes the lead, and Martin should add these 6 points, and that will now make it 17 points to 14 for St Helens. But certainly end-to-end stuff. Widnes will be disappointed at going behind after having so much of the attack in this second half, but there's a long way to go yet. We're just 15 minutes now into this half, and credit to both teams for giving the crowd the money's worth.
But Widnes will restart after Gary's impartial opinion about that try. No hint whatsoever of a forward pass in that movement. And Mike Riley, well, there's no need to clean my glasses, Gary, there's nothing wrong. Well, Pickavance knocks it forward there, an unforced error off one of the Saints' best players. He bounces it down in disgust, and it's going to be Saints under pressure again, Gary, with a scrum down 10 metres from the Saints line with a Widnes head and ball.
Yes, but as we always say so often, you've got to turn these points into pressure. It's no use Widnes having all the attacking chances that they've had in this half if they don't come away with any points. And they've got to really cross the whitewash off this set of 6 tackles, I would say. Otherwise, you can sense that the players might start to get a bit disheartened. But Moriarty flicks the ball out there. McCurry's looking for support. Nobody with him. There was only Moriarty and McCurry alive to that possibility there. Hume takes it to Hammond on the blind side. A short ball to David Hume. Widnes looking for the quick play of the ball. Dave Lewayne, good run by Dave Smith. Almost had the ball knocked away though as the party flew in. Dave Lewayne, steps, dummies, steps, is he there? Oh, not quite, he's close to the line. How many times have I said that so far in this half? Golding, little chip, obstruction, but it doesn't matter. Bobby Golding scores for Widnes, and that is justified. Widnes had to come away from the line with points on this spell of 6. They've been throwing the ball about so much, and they've seen Bobby Golding there. That is what you call thinking on your feet. Bobby could see that the Saints line was moving up quickly all the time to attempt to cut out the attacks, so he just caught them on the wrong foot. A lovely little chip in. I thought he was about to be impeded, but that bulk of his forced him past the attempted obstruction, and he touched down. Widnes back in the lead.
Yes, Gary, I think he actually was impeded, being quite fair, and if he hadn't have touched it down, which he only got fingertip touch on it, but downward pressure he got, and the try's awarded. Good try there. If he hadn't have actually touched it, as I said, Gary, I think he may have been awarded an obstruction try, but as it happened, he did well there. It was on the 6th tackle. Widnes put pressure on. I could hear you saying that they had to make it count, putting all this pressure into points, which they hadn't done in the last attack on the Saints line. But he's out there now looking to pop the extras over, and a seesaw game. 18 points to 17 now with this conversion to come, Gary.
Easter derby game between the two arch enemies, and Bobby Golding puts Widnes further ahead now. It's 20 points to 17, and this is certainly hot stuff by both sides.
Before we get underway, Gary, I don't know whether you watched it last night. It was nice to see Mastermind, Rugby League represented on Mastermind. It was a St Helens specky, so you probably wouldn't have been interested. But John Wilson, an ex-York man, and he was on British Rugby League. He got a total of 31. He actually won the game. 19 on his own subject and no passes, and 12 in the second half. So we'll have to, and I'm sure you'll wish him all well in the semi-final.
Well, I hate to agree with you, Donny, but yes, I certainly do wish him well. Anything that's publicity for Rugby League, in my mind, is all to the good, because it's certainly the greatest game in my book that does exist. The best, the hardest, the fastest sport in the world, and you can see down there, this is a perfect example of that. Well, that wasn't a good example of it by David Hume. I think he just had a little rush of blood to his head there, David Hume, attempting to pass that ball out on the floor.
Yes, and it's scrum down, Saints head and ball, Tommy Martin to feed. Saints trailing by 3 points now, 20 points to 17. They're a sham, these scrums, are they? But we keep going. Rapati onto Lachlan, coming through at pace, centre field. Saints against the wind in the second half, turned round with a 3-point advantage, 11-8, now trailing by 20 points to 17. Excellent game. We've had 21, nearly 22 minutes of the second half gone, so in the last quarter, and Pickavance runs hard and strong and straight. The wind still there and the sun coming out. We've had all the weathers this afternoon, Gary. John Harrison in the Widnes 20-metre area. Tommy Hodgkinson acting halfback. Turns it infield. Into passing there with Martin and Cooper. And Tommy Martin just losing his footing, and a Widnes player, Moriarty, took a knock. Now with Cooper, chips it through, Alan Hunt following it. Oh, well taken by Spruce, took it well, under pressure. And Pickavance completed the tackle, but it's now with Adrian Hadley, I think, Gary.
Yes, and I think you can see the confidence there in Hadley, because even from his own 20-metre line there, he was only one looking to do one thing there, and that was break the tackle and score. And that is confidence for you from a winger. And why not? He's certainly on the top of his game at the moment. Widnes still with 2 substitutes available if they want them or they need them. Of course, Christian Tyler and Craig Makin still on the bench. and making warming up there, I think, because of the knock which Paul Moriarty took earlier on. He seemed to take a knock on the knee. Mike Riley's not going to take any chances with that, and who can blame him in these conditions? An excellent kick by Golding takes St Helens back down onto the 20-metre line.
Yes, good astute kicking by Widnes, pegging the Saints down in their own area. Third meeting of these two sides this season. Charity Saints winning 30 points to 14. The league game at Nosey Road, Saints winning also by 24-16. Eric Hughes his first game in charge as the Saints coach. Saints go with possession from the scrum. David Lyon, well, quick hands had to be essential there, but good cover defence. Spruce linking up in the line, and he made the tackle on David Lyon, but it's now with Anthony Sullivan, scorer of one this afternoon on the 20-metre line. And good strong running again as Loughlin came in. David Myers in there at the tackling, but good running by both sides. Cooper, taken by McCurry, well clamped. Smith also there as well. Pickavance looping round Alan Hunt. Well, it wasn't meant there for Tommy Martin, but he plucked it out of the air. Now it's with George Mann. He unloads it. Chris Joint runs out wide. Solid tackling by Widnes. Last one of this sequence. Craig Makin looking to be introduced instead of David Smith, I think, as the ball is kicked upfield. Spruce in possession.
Stuart Spruce looking for the gap, and he finds the gap centre field. A good sidestep by Spruce, but a crucial tackle on him. I think Tommy Martin made the final tackle, and if he hadn't done, Spruce would have been away. Smith, that was a excellent pass by Smith, and I'm sure it went straight to Paul Hume, but Hume just couldn't take it, perhaps a little bit low on his hip. And Widnes, as you say, waiting to make that substitution, but meanwhile St Helens coming back now.
Yes, with George Mann. Fellow countryman Tirapati steps up at the acting halfback. John Harrison leading the charge. He turns it back to Tommy